got us?
Yeah, I'm here. I can hear you.
All right, here we go. So, Joe, thank you for joining me today on our flagship adventure with Across Lacrosse. Been plenty of questions up until now, and for those people who aren't familiar with it, this is just me talking to people out there in the lacrosse world, and it could be anybody from somebody who makes lacrosse equipment to a professional player to somebody who dyes lacrosse heads to you. And we had a little
bit
had a little teaser of it, and I guess my first question for you is: did you ever finish inflating your blow-up doll?
I did.
I'm not seeing your head.
Exactly. How do you flip this thing over? Here we go. Get you. Oh, there
this
we
is
go.
Good TV right here.
Some user error. You think I would know how to use a phone? But yeah.
Yeah, weren't you just making fun of me for being old?
Yeah, I know. I know. I haven't used Skype in 10 years though, so. It's pretty sick, honestly. It's got these little handles on the side, so it helps you move it because it's filled with water on the bottom here.
Yeah.
It's got I don't know, probably 20 gallons of water in there at least.
Did you guys get in trouble in Southern California for using that much water?
Yeah, it definitely cost a little bit of money for that. I might have to throw some extra cash up for the roommates for the amount of water that took.
And so you're in Southern California.
Yes.
Exactly where are you?
I am in Claremont. It's just it's in San Diego technically. I guess we're right above downtown area, kind of by the beaches, but a little bit away from it. It's just the perfect area, so where you can drive a little bit and not have to sit in too much traffic because California has some traffic.
Yes, it does.
I know. I don't know how Northern California is. It's not as bad, but in some spots that I've been, but I also haven't been, to the heat of it either. But
so, how close are you to Disneyland?
I don't know. Probably 2 hours.
That's Anaheim, right? Is Anaheim? It's basically LA, right?
Isn't it? It's just above LA, right? Where it's I guess, right? Is it North Carolina? So I don't know. It just depends what time of day you drive around here. If you drive, during the wrong time of day, that 2 hour drive could take 4 hours, possibly longer. But at the same time, if you go at the right time of day, that 2 hour drive could be an hour and a half, even an hour. I've gotten to LA from my house where I live now in an hour, but I've also taken 6 hours to come back from LA.
Makes sense. I'm glad I'm not in that situation, but I'm gonna have to go to Disneyland now. My son and I were watching TV, and they have a thing where we went to Disney World and you can make your own lightsabers. We're both big Star Wars nerds, and
that's awesome. I was just
not like the kind that you can chop people's limbs off with, but But in Disneyland now, you can make your own droids. You can make your very own BB-8 or whatever, and he's all about the droids. So, pretty sure that we're gonna have to make our way out there at some point. So.
No, that's awesome. Is it just out here? It's not at the one in Florida?
I don't think they have it at the one in Florida yet. So they used to have all the Star Wars stuff at Hollywood Studios, but then they started building their Star Wars world.
It looks pretty cool if you've seen the videos for the sneak peeks.
Yep.
I'm one of those persons, that likes sneak peeks, so I've seen the
you wouldn't say
flyover pictures, or I've definitely Googled a couple Google Earths of that specific area, and I'm not even a huge Star Wars guy. So.
But you are Mr. Sneak Peek. You're
I just kind of like that stuff. So.
Mr. Exclusive. We'll get into that a little bit. So, I almost felt like I wasn't talking to you. You look like your twin brother or something. What happened with the hair?
I had to get a haircut. Got a wedding for my good friend back home in Jersey, and it was ridiculous.
Oh.
It was time.
What were they calling you? Like funny names like Sunshine?
No, 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 no. Nobody was calling me any funny names, but everybody's good, good people's out here. No.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got more good names after I cut the hair than before I cut the hair. So I don't know if it's a win or a lose, but that's where we're at now.
So tell me, how did you come up with the idea for Art or Lax? Tell me about how it all came to be.
So this was probably sophomore year of college. I was on my college's, you know how they do like an overnight for incoming, like, recruits and stuff like that. It's not an orientation.
Oh, okay, but
more of a camp, like a prospect day.
Yeah.
So we had our first prospect day, and they needed help, picking up balls, reffing, doing, the odds and ends, and I've always done that. So my actual roommate and I, we reffed the game, and then they had like a question and answer session up in one of our, lecture halls at the school. And it just happened to be that our one assistant coach, Adam Ettinger, who is Rep Lax on Instagram, good guy. He brought his, gate torque with this awesome traditional in it that he strung up, and the light was shining right in the window. And all of a sudden it had this awesome shadow, and that was the first picture. And then it kind of morphed somehow in the next so and so time that it kind of became Art or Lax. I don't know how it actually got the Art or Lax name. I think it might have been in that conversation that me and him had. It was like art. Is this like art or is it lax? And then boom, and now we're here.
And so I know you try your best to behave yourself, but you're also a little nervous that you may get your hand slapped or something. So how many accounts do you have now in the waiting?
I've changed the name of my alternate account, Lax or Art, from a number of things, including like String King Lacrosse, which is not a name on Instagram. Could be valuable.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't want to go down that road anymore for things like that. But it's had a number of different name changes. The current one is Lax or Art. It's, I don't know, just a duplicate account just in case. I also have my own personal account, Joe Pozniak 13.
Mm-hmm.
Not many people follow it, but the select few who do love it and cherish it.
So, do you occasionally get a little bit of cease and desist, or people telling you or asking you?
It's not really a cease and desist. I've never gotten to that point. I'm kind of more of on the open playing field with people, or I don't know, not playing field, conversation. I like to have an open conversation with them and give them the option. Hey, if this is your photo, you can ask me to take it down. That doesn't mean it didn't get posted in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
So I've taken down a number of photos for basically every single company you could name, but that you got to ask for the photo to be taken down. And a lot of times it has to have a decent reason for it. I've also been asked, please take this photo down, and I haven't. And that's gotten me into not disagreements, but more of, I don't know how to say it best, but yeah, they didn't like me at that time. But now we see eye to eye, and that particular company and I work well together to this day.
Right on.
Great gentleman.
And
out of Maryland.
I guess this is where like Robin Hood and the Merry Men come from. So you could explain to all these old guys what like your naughty gang is.
So the naughty gang is, I honestly, it took me a little bit of time to figure it out. I didn't understand it at first. I gave it the Google search.
Yeah.
And what naughty gang? What is this?
Yeah.
And I bought in. Sometimes you need to buy into things, and I bought in, and it's paying off a little bit.
Yeah.
The naughty gang will have a giveaway coming up this Friday. A nice, sneak giveaway in between the regular Freebie Friday giveaway. But that's,
and
the naughty
for
gang.
those old dogs who still don't know what the hell we're talking about, make sure you go to our Relax and turn on the notifications, because you never know when something's going to get posted.
And then take it down.
Joe's going to have to take it down. So you might miss out on the brand new head that people don't even know about yet.
Or gloves.
Or gloves. Yeah, we'll get to gloves. So I see you're wearing the nice Adrenaline shirt.
Yeah.
So
nice. It's a very nice shirt.
So how do you like working for Adrenaline?
I see that one.
Yeah.
Did that myself.
Very nice. free advertising. So next question for you. Can you define adrenaline?
Adrenaline is the constant drive and passion to advance the game of lacrosse for the future. That would be my definition. I don't know the true adrenaline definition, but that's the Adrenaline Lacrosse definition.
That's all right. Do you want to ask me to define old dog lacrosse? No.
Let's hear it. We got an old dog lacrosse definition.
So speaking of dogs, what's your dog's name?
We got Marley. She's currently devouring a stick.
Now, Marley got her name. Marley got her name before Marley and me.
No.
No?
She did not. Marley is 3 1/4 years old. If we're getting technical.
Yeah.
She came from the middle of Amish country, Pennsylvania. She's a black lab coonhound mix she's probably about 80 to 90 pounds.
Yeah.
She's full of excitement, doesn't bark much, but kind of hounds like a broken dog. But she is definitely happy and, cheerful. She's not broken. She's good-spirited. But
the name has nothing to do with the movie or the book.
So to be honest with you, my family has, I don't know if you could hear that. It was a vibrate. So over time, my family, we've had 3 dogs other than Marley. She is my dog. So we had Mabel, we had Maggie, and then we have Missy. So Maggie and Missy are at my parents' house, and we've had basically black dogs with the M name from the start. It happened to be because the first dog was named Mabel, and she was a black lab, so kept it going, and now here today with the tradition continues with Marley. So
nice.
I think I'll have to keep the lineage going.
So you got a birthday coming up.
Yes, on the 3rd.
August 3rd, and I think I will be camping at the time up in Maine. I still need to find out if there's any place in Western Maine to play lacrosse, but
all you gotta have is a stick, a ball, and pretty much something to throw it off of, which could be anything if you're creative enough.
That's true. So 1994, we were talking about this earlier. You know that old saying, I've got shoes older than you. But I was already working in 1994, getting ready to head into high school, probably close to getting my driver's license, working at the Whale's Tail down Hampton Beach. It's crazy to think, but 94 was the year of the dog, so it's a special year.
It's a good
The
year.
year the Lion King came out,
Really?
and that's the classic right there. And I didn't know this, but I was looking into this. Aladdin and Lion King both came out in the same year. I mean, you probably
It
wouldn't
was just
remember
the
all
time
this.
for those movies.
Yeah. Now they're remaking them all.
Isn't everything coming back?
Yeah, I guess. But Lion King wasn't even, I think, the top movie. They had movies like Pulp Fiction that came out, Shawshank Redemption, and
Classics.
Forrest Gump. I think Forrest Gump was the number one movie that year. But I was kind of taking a walk down memory lane and remembering how awesome the mid 90s were for me. Not you, you were a baby. But
You know who I share a birthday with?
um, Tom Hanks,
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady. Well, there's a little known fact right there.
That is.
Yeah, I don't care that much about Tom Brady to know when his birthday is. I
I
don't think he needs presents from me.
He doesn't have presents for me either, but he's got the presents for TB9.
Yeah. But yeah, like the video games, Donkey Kong Country, and all those things. I know '94 was a really big year for like R&B and like smooth jams, but there was some good music that came out too, like the resurgence of Soundgarden, some good Alice in Chains music. But if you had to go down that path of like hip hop and R&B, I would have to say like Regulators, underrated song. Wu-Tang Clan was getting started, amazing, good stuff. You don't know what I'm talking about though, because
I know about every other, to pretty much you're I don't know. There's a couple in there I'm like, who?
I just don't know a whole lot about One Direction, so we'll move on to the next question.
No, to be honest with you, I definitely listen to a wide variety of music from
Yeah.
Definitely my dad's taste with like the Metallica to like Ozzy Osbourne to I was listening to Kid Rock in kindergarten when I got my first CD confiscated because they were like, you can't be listening to Kid Rock and that it's not an appropriate age. I didn't think it was though.
I don't know if there's any appropriate age for Kid Rock. So, but movies and music are kind of who I am and a big part of where I come from. So I was also thinking it was like the height of Jim Carrey's career, and I started looking into this. And he made a ridiculous amount of movies right around that time. So your next question is going to be your first lightning round.
Oh God.
So I'm going to give you 4 Jim Carrey movies, and you have to tell me which one was not made in 1994. Do you know who Jim Carrey is? Do I need to
I
put a
definitely
picture?
know who Jim Carrey is. This is going to be good.
In Living Color was big in the 90s before you were born. But so I'll start with
It's
the.
hard to do because you got to remember, in 1994, I was born. You don't remember things when you were born. I
That's
would have
why.
had to do some research, so I gotta think here.
Yeah, this is so weird to me to think that you weren't born when these movies were being made, or you were just a baby. All right,
Crazy.
so let's see if you can guess it.
Right.
And this could be good. The people can play along at home. So 4 movies, all were made in 1994 except for one. Ready?
Ready.
All right. Ace Ventura, The Mask, Cable Guy, and Dumb and Dumber.
Honestly, I think The Mask that came out a lot more recent.
Is that your final answer?
So we're gonna go with it.
The Mask was not recent at all. It was 94.
I was gonna say a lot more. By a lot more I mean like 98.
98, yeah. The answer is actually Cable Guy, which is an underrated Jim Carrey film, one of my favorites. But, that was 96. Yeah. But back to the important stuff.
I dig the Florida launch hat, by the way. I forgot to say. Rest in peace.
Well, yeah, when I said we'll get to this, but you seem to have your finger on the pulse, and I don't know how you do it. I mean, part of it's probably your merry men, since you're the sheriff of Nottingham, but you seem to know everything. Like, you must constantly be looking at Instagram and Twitter.
I kill my data. It's awful. Honestly, I feel bad for my parents still because we're on the same plan, and I definitely use my fair share more of the data than my mom and dad. It's not fair.
I'm still waiting for the day that you find out about like a player who got cut before they did, because I'm sure it's going to happen.
When Dylan Malloy got dropped, I knew about 2 weeks before they released it, but it was just one of those weird things where you're friends with some players and some people in positions where if, they were caught telling you, not even because they're telling me for a leak or for something, they're just telling me out of conversation because I love talking about lacrosse in general, and it sometimes can bring things up that they shouldn't be talking about, but they just talk about it with me because they're open, and I don't want to get them in trouble, so I don't share a lot of the stuff that I do have knowledge of.
You're sitting on secrets right now, aren't you?
It's weird to say that I actually have a lot more things under wraps than gets posted, because there's a fair share of things that get leaked.
Well, I can't say I'm surprised, but yeah, the Florida launch stuff, sad. It's been an interesting year, and we can fast forward to this question. 2019's been a big year for professional lacrosse. Man, your notifications gang is blowing up your phone, huh?
I'm sorry, the people. It's
there's
what it
stuff.
Hold on, let me get this. Let me give you the dog for a second.
I'm glad you finally found a use for your weights, by the way.
I haven't had to use them, but
2019, big year for professional lacrosse, though, and we could talk about that all day, the pros and the cons of everything that's happened. But if there's one thing that stood out for you as something that you think is the biggest benefit from this big shakeup, whether it be like a potential rule change or new practices brought to the sport, what do you think at the end of the day, is the most exciting, most interesting thing to you?
It's more of a two-part question, a two-answer question, I would say. I love the fact that there's so many more guys playing this year. If you look at it, how many teams were there last year? The MLL had 8 teams or 10 teams, whatever they had. But this year there's 12 teams. Even if it's only 2 more teams playing from my numbers, that's 45, 50 more guys playing across the summer and are making some money. Not saying they're making what they should be or that both leagues are paying the same, but at the end of the day, that's good for the sport, because I would kill the play, right now.
There's so many more young guys playing now, I think, which is great. I've been watching the Cannons play, and some of the biggest contributors straight off of college rosters.
But at the end of the day, if you look at the old MLL, that's the way it used to be. Mm-hmm. The older guys would kind of phase out after a year or two, and you had your younger guys, hanging in there. You had your Paul Rabels and your Jesse Hubbards and your Kyle Harrisons, but you still have those today in the MLL. Mm-hmm. I would argue with anybody until I'm blue in the face that both leagues are arguably closer in talent than they appear. Mm-hmm. If you took an all-star team from both leagues,
it's not going to happen.
If you took those players, they would probably be a pretty even game. That game would be far more even than most would think and most would argue with me about. But
whose field size would you use and whose rules and
so you just brought me to my second part of my answer. I love the new rules. The PLL's rules are awesome. They have except the fighting. The fighting is completely ridiculous.
But I thought you were a big box guy.
I love box, but fighting happens in box and the physicality is part of box. I understand the need for more physicality in field, which the PLL brought, and it's awesome to see because you see more of that action effect that you see on, things like Hard Knocks and, some of those premier TV shows where you look back and you still have people watching episodes. People are going to maybe watch these PLL games for years to come, and it's because of the action and the way these players are going back and forth with each other. I don't think they're going to watch it because of, so-and-so getting into a fight with, so-and-so.
You're not a big fan of the power bombs and
I'm all for sticking up for your teammate. I'll stick up for my teammate, till I'm right next to them on the ground, in trouble. Yeah. But I don't understand the need for people to throw fists in this game of outdoor lacrosse. And they're setting examples for the youth at the end of the day. And are we going to have youth kids fighting at tournaments now?
So you're no stranger to playing in that. You ever been in a fight playing goalie?
I'm more of a face-off guy, so.
What about a face-off fight?
I've never gotten into a fight during a game. I've played bait, and I was on Long Island. I had a kid. I pushed him. Then he pushed me. I fell onto the ground. I didn't hit anybody, but he hit me. Like, he didn't push me. He gave me a good shove to where the ref was like, we had a 2-minute penalty at the end of the game. We won. Yeah. So,
well, it's always the guy that retaliates that gets caught, right?
That's what they say.
But yeah, I mean, it's been an interesting year, and big year for you. And I know you've done a lot of exciting things, and you got more to come. But yeah, I just don't know how you find these things or hear about these things, and it could be news or like lacrosse equipment that hasn't hit the market yet, but it could be. I know, like me, you're also a big fan of some of the traditional vintage lacrosse equipment.
Oh, that's awesome, too. I love
if there's ever anything that you wanted, you usually have got it. And I wanted to know if there was a white whale, something that you've just never been able to get that you're still on the lookout for.
So there's 3 things currently that I'm always on the lookout for something. Yeah. When you're the collector that I've been, I've gotten to the point where I've owned 30, 40 pairs of custom gloves. I've sold them. I probably own, only 10 pairs right now max if I went to all my little places and counted them up. But the one thing I'm looking for is these old Brian Swiss Beat shafts that Lacrosse Unlimited released a number of years ago. There was 3 of them. There's a Riptides one that was orange. There's a Chargers one that was white, blue, and gold. I would maybe a little gray in there also. And then what's the other one? There was also one more that I bought as a kid. And I ruined them. I've had so many sticks. I've owned over 100 sticks would be an understatement.
Yeah.
I've sold them, broke them. I've done everything that you can do to a stick, but I don't have those sticks anymore. And about 2 months ago, I put the search out on my Arter Lax, and No results. A couple people helped out, tried finding them. And then all of a sudden one day they popped up on Sideline Swap. All three of them, the same post. I bought them. On Sideline Swap, you can only buy one item from a seller that's listed. If they have two of the items, and you can't buy them both together unless they do it that way. It's ridiculous. It's the way they have their thing set up. So I went to my roommate. I gave him my credit card. He gave me his Sideline Swap, and I bought the shafts on his thing too. So I bought 2 sets of them. So I was like, I want one for myself, and then I'm going to use the other set. The guy fell through. He got blocked on Sideline Swap and banned because he didn't send them. And the worst part is he's from San Diego. I know where he lives.
Listen, don't do
I've
anything
tried
rash.
contacting him on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I've done it all. Just honest messages of, please, I want these shafts. I'll do anything for them. It doesn't matter that you've screwed me once. I'll come pick them up.
I'll do anything.
It grinds my gears more than you know that they're less than 5 miles away from my house right now, and I can't get them. And for the longest time, the excuse was he was out of town because he was in New York. And I was like, that's crazy. Like, where does this guy live? And I looked back later and found where he lived, and I couldn't go to his house. That would be crazy. I would get to the crazy point.
You may have already passed the crazy point.
No, that's just your average young adult learning how to use his resources to his advantages.
Fair enough. Well, now the world knows. If anybody has one of those sitting in their basement, got to talk to Joe.
I gotta get you a little picture so you can pop up in the corner.
But I've thought about it, and with the notifications and everything, you kind of need like a bat signal. And I was wondering, if you had your own bat signal, what would it be?
Wow. Because that's a bat, like, you got to be able to see that at night. There's so many things that come into need for this. It's not like a simple logo for that. Yeah. I would think like a traditional stick. I would honestly think a pic that cutout of the first ever Artilax photo. Not even the Mona Lisa. Maybe the Artilax guy.
Yeah. Maybe.
Or the AOL guy.
Yeah. I don't know which one's going to get you a cease and desist first, the Mona Lisa or the AOL guy. Probably the AOL guy, because Da Vinci's dead. But
well, the AOL guy is, it's technically different than their logo is.
I couldn't believe how long it took me to get it. Like, I was like, AOL. AOL. I was like, oh.
It's one of those things when you're sitting in the airport one day and you've got no phone, you're completely out of, resources, you're just drained, and you're like, that's it. That's the next logo.
That's the one.
So.
But yeah, I mean, you are the king of swag too. It's like if there's ever anything that you want, you make it. I showed you a little button. You got your stickers. You got anything you could ever. No, I just got my new coasters.
The best, honestly, the Sticker Mule is one of the best companies out there. They make it so easy. They really do.
Good colors for the corporate logo.
It's a great color combo.
But my last question for you is, what exciting things do you have coming down the pike that you are privy to talk about, whether it be work or Artilax? I know I've got some things I want to talk about, but I don't want to get yelled at. So
That's fair. So there's always things in the works. Definitely got some things going on. I saw some sneak peeks of something today at work that might be, released in the near future for Adrenaline. I don't know what it's going to be, but it might be pretty cool. I've also been in the talks with Green Knuckles Lacrosse. Speaking of good color combinations,
Yeah.
He and I actually went to school together. I don't know if you know that, but
I didn't. That's good trivia.
We talked a couple weeks back about this idea that would be for face-off guys.
Yeah, you kind of teased this.
It would be a tool that kids would use as a resource for for how they buy a stick, or what stick they buy, or why they buy a stick, or what are the what are the needs of the stick? What does each face-off stick have compared to each other, almost, but in a very unique way that will probably be in some catalogs in the future, I would imagine. I don't have any works for that right now, but I'm sure somebody will be listening one day. And if you're out there and you want to have this in your catalog, I guarantee it'll be a resource that will have more guys using your catalog and remembering your website than others. So
exciting stuff.
But other than that, I've got just the rest of the summer ahead of me. I've got some light weeks in the future, going back home for a wedding in August for my birthday. Nice. And then that's about it. Just working some camps with Adrenaline during the week. But, other than that, just sticking to the daily grind at Adrenaline, getting orders in, getting orders out, embroidering hats, pressing shirts.
Pressing and embroidering just about anything you could think of.
We were doing some East Coast Dyes shorts today.
Wow.
They were pretty cool. Sent them out to Greg. So hopefully you guys see them. I could see them making a big appearance in the future. I could say I'm definitely going to buy a pair for myself. They definitely look pretty cool. But other than that, it's, just the usual thing. Things pop up out of nowhere for Artilax, as you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes they also go away out of nowhere, as some people know.
So with the upcoming products that we know of, because you're gracious enough to share them with us, which one are you most excited about?
I've loved the helmet game. I love how each company is kind of remaking their helmets, because it's finally pushing each other to have that step. Boom. All right, where are we now? We're here. All right, like, who's gonna do this? For so many years, we had every helmet. We had the CPX and the CPXR and the Pro 7 and the R and the S and everything in between, for every other company. But I would wear a Pro 7 today. I feel more comfortable in a helmet that was made when I was in 8th grade, because I think that's more protective than the ones that are out there today. Even the R's and the Burned and I haven't tried the Rival, but I wore an STX helmet in college, and it was one of the worst experiences in lacrosse that I ever had. It felt awful. Being in the East Coast, we practiced in the middle of the winter, when, the spring lacrosse season. And it felt like you had a brick on your helmet. You had like this rock, and unless you had this thing heated up, basically to the point where I was in the car putting it under my footrest or under my hand thing so I could keep the helmet up as hot as possible before I went out onto the field, because it hurt to wear, let alone if I got hit with it. I was a face-off guy.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't get hit that often. The NCAA changed the rules, and I kept getting blindsided because you have to pop it out. And I used to be a guy who would just run with it in the back, and I could shoot and throw and catch with it in the back. You can do that if you string your stick a certain way, but I would have to come up, and that it's literally this, and you come up blind so often, and you just get popped in the head by these guys from Long Island that come out of nowhere.
Yep.
It's only those Long Island guys who come that hard. I don't know what it is, but
something in the water.
It's they come out of nowhere, and it's rough. And I've had my fair share of scares over the years. I wore the best football helmet growing up, a Zenith football helmet, and it was because of concussions. And like, I had 2 as a kid, and I bought the best possible football helmet.
I think we all had our share of concussions, unfortunately.
It's something that the best go through.
Yeah, and in college you don't have that choice of what helmet to wear. I guess one nice thing that they're doing these days is they're giving the pros at least the option to choose which helmet they want to wear.
That's awesome. That is so awesome. But you don't see anybody wearing an R. I guarantee we will at some point, just purely because somebody's going to have a weird noggin and it's not going to fit them right. Or
really large head, maybe.
Like, I feel bad. I have a big head, but like, I can fit in a helmet. Like, in the R, it's pretty close to being as big as it goes, but I'm 5'5".
Yeah.
I'm not big. I just have a big head.
It's full of information, lacrosse information.
Useless lacrosse information.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy.
So you're more excited about the helmets coming down the line than like a Torque or like a new goalie head, or?
Every year companies come out with heads.
Yeah.
We have heads. Gate Torque's going to be awesome. I would imagine it's going to be something like the Under Armour Command Low with a Gate Torque / Torque 3.
Like they had a baby?
Morph. Exactly. Yeah. It might be cool. It's going to be something that kids are going to buy. I don't need another lacrosse head. I love them. I love seeing the different technologies and advances, but what I need is a new helmet. I need something that's going to protect me. I'm not at the age of I'm trying to shoot the fastest shot out there. There's heads out there, like being in California, I need a head that's consistent, but I'm not looking for the best fit, head out there. I need something that's going to stay in shape. Like, being a face-off guy, I use a dual, but if I don't face off, I want something that's going to hit a pipe when I shoot. I have a good shot. It might be a little bit arrogant, but I definitely have a good shot. I took far too little shots in college, but I was shooting with a face-off stick, and I don't know if you've ever personally shot with a face-off stick, but if you look at Jerry Raganese's videos on his draw days, he requires the kids to throw and catch with it. I can throw and catch and shoot pretty well with it. I'm not saying that when I shoot the hardest, it's not going to bend back and, throw off to the right every so often or to the left or make me look a little silly. But it's all in fun at the end of the day.
Yeah. It's definitely not the easiest head to shoot with.
No. I don't know what I want for what I'm most excited about. There's definitely a few things that I'm excited about that I can't tell you yet, but that's probably, it's either the 1 or 2 things I can't tell you about, or helmets that are where I'm at, because everything else kind of hasn't been done. I always like to see something that hasn't been done yet, or something that somebody has improved on that nobody else could.
Right.
You know, I don't know. Have you felt the warps?
The new ones?
Any of them?
The originals, yeah.
Have you felt anything past the original?
No, all I had was the Burn Warp Pros, the first, ones that came out. I haven't had any of the second generation Evos.
Don't give up.
Yeah.
Everyone has been an advancement that makes me look at it and go, this might be for me. But then it's not, because I don't know. I used Mark Mesh back in the day. I like a weird stick.
I definitely think there's a place for them. Not everybody like you or I can string a stick exactly how they want it. Honestly, there's people stringing sticks out there that are not helping themselves.
No.
They should probably be using something with less whip, that they're not going to change their whole dynamics to learn how to throw.
No, never.
So,
but that's been going on for years. I had kids when I was growing up that would use I want a high pocket. Why? Because Paul Rabel uses it. Okay, I'll string you a high pocket, and then I string him this nice mid pocket, and he throws perfect with it. And he's like, it's not high enough. It's like, you're not going to be able to throw with that, dude. That's why the NCAA changed rules on shooters, because kids couldn't throw.
Mm-hmm.
They just hold on to the ball. They would run through kids. It became football.
Yeah.
But I would recommend the warps to the little kids any day of the week.
Yeah.
Guys on my 5th and 6th grade team, the kids that had a warp dominated the other kids. Even at that they're getting to that age where, some kids are getting the better with, better sticks. They have more hold and stuff. They dominated. The kids, even if they were a new kid, they weren't the same.
I think I have a warp around here somewhere that the warp that I learned to play with. I don't know where it is, but mine was made by Brian.
Was that your first stick?
No, my first stick was an M1.
Ah, okay.
There weren't a lot of options, period, when I was coming up, but close to me that I could get. Like, it's not like I could go online and order a Lacrosse head. And there wasn't, Dick's Sporting Goods didn't exist, there wasn't any places close, but my first was an M1. Then I got an OG Edge, then an Edge Plus, and, kind of went up from there.
I started with the X2, so
yeah. Solid heads.
I couldn't technically buy a head online at the time either when I first started playing, but I quickly was able to, very quickly.
You had to go to the post office and get one of those CDs and bring home like an AOL or like a Net Zero so you could use your dial-up internet. And,
got to make sure your mom's not on the phone so you can use the computer.
We've come a long way.
Technology.
Now it's all in the palm of your hands.
Now I'm outside on a phone.
Yeah.
In California.
So I don't want to keep you all night in beautiful California. Did you have any questions for me? You can always ask them afterwards if you don't have.
This is, I don't know. From the start, I liked the shirt. I was digging the Misfit shirt. Other than that, I want to give you. Also, I never. Let me see the tattoo here.
Oh yeah, I've got some tattoos. This is my first one. Pretty typical first tattoo. I don't even know if you can see the colors anymore, but it's my last name and a banner with a shamrock. It was totally.
How old were you? How old? What was that?
That was probably before you were born. I don't know. It was probably close to 20 years old. It was at Hobo's in Portsmouth, New Hampshire.
Hobo's.
Yeah.
One day you got to go back and get another one from there.
Well,
Get an old dog lacrosse tattoo over it.
yeah. Well, unfortunately, poor George is retired. He's out there fishing these days, but
Fair.
I'll go see somebody else. Yeah, I'd have more work done too if I could afford it.
Wouldn't we all?
Yeah. But yeah, maybe there will be an old dog lacrosse tattoo in my future. Who knows?
I saw an adrenaline tattoo this weekend. Nice
Really?
calf tattoo. Yeah, a full
Nice
calf.
It
was on Chris Bachlet's Instagram on his story. Yeah, that shield. Full shield, calf, black and white. It wrapped around his calf. It was impressive. And I've never recognized the guy in my life, so I don't know if he worked at Adrenaline in the past. Maybe.
Just a super fan.
It could be.
I mean, I like Adrenaline. You guys make great stuff. I'm like a walking advertisement at times between the socks and the coat and the hat, sweatpants, whatever. I'll wear it all. Good stuff. Comfortable.
I definitely have my fair share of stuff.
Yeah, man. But big fan of the Misfits. It was funny. The original lineup came back together, and you could only catch them. It would be like random places like Chicago or I don't know, New Jersey or something like that.
What a random place.
Yeah, who wants to go there to see a show? But LA.
Only, some of the best little places there are.
But yeah, I mean, I'm like you that I listen to all music, but definitely a place in my heart for some of the hard stuff, and like you mentioned, Metallica, love Metallica.
It's crazy what I listen to. I was listening to country this morning, and I walked in and was playing Biggie Smalls to, I don't know. And that, I couldn't tell you what goes on next. You have, every single genre. You have bagpipes. You have organ music. It's weird. I listen to, I'm thankful for Apple Music, because without Apple Music, I wouldn't be able to have the music experience that I have now, because I couldn't afford a quarter of the songs I buy, because I listen to so many songs just like, ooh, that sounds pretty cool. I like that, that little part there. And then it gets me in the song. I don't know how it is for you with certain songs, but
yeah, I mean, there's the classics that are the tried and true music that I love, but I'm always looking for new stuff. And I'm not trying to be arrogant either, but a lot of times I kind of find out about these musicians or bands before they hit it big, and I'm like, this band is gonna make it. They're gonna be really good, and sure enough, they will be. But I'll listen to just about anything, and sometimes it depends on my mood, or I'll go back and forth. But
fair. No, sometimes it will change my mood in a negative or a positive way. It can be very influential.
We should do that PLL segment where I look at your phone, or and we can look at the last song you listened to. Could be dangerous though. Who did you text last? What did you say?
I wonder what song I listened to last.
Those guys clean up their phones before they do that.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
So the last song I listened to was "Come On Up to the House" by Willie Nelson and a group of others. So if that gives you some judgment into the complete madness of my music selection, there you go.
Well, we're approaching the 1 hour mark here.
Wow.
I could talk to you all evening, but I don't want to keep you. I'm sure you got better things to do.
I probably should go eat dinner at some point.
I told you we could do this after dinner.
No, the problem is working at Adrenaline, I kind of eat lunch when I want, and then I go home kind of when I want. So I'll eat lunch at weird times on different days, and Today I ate a breakfast lunch at 9 o'clock in the morning, and then also I ate like a partial snack at like 4 o'clock when I got home. So, being that postgraduate life, you gotta start to watch what you're eating.
At the O'Neill household, we love to occasionally have breakfast for dinner.
That it is
Breakfast.
always a good thing. I was
Great.
snacking on some turkey before, some deli meat turkey and some almonds, cashews. It was cashews.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, they don't have quite the healthy ring to it that almonds do, but
They taste pretty good.
I do prefer cashews to almonds.
I'm all for living it up to the fullest. I'm not here to.
They're a superior nut.
At the end of the day, would you pick 2 pieces of bacon or 4 pieces of bacon?
Give me all the bacon.
Exactly.
All the bacon. Now you're making me hungry. I already ate.
Don't. I can't do that to you. It's pretty late over there.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank you, Joe,
Awesome.
for joining me today. I'm looking forward to having this segment move forward. Next guest is going to be Lars, Sidewall Jedi. So
Awesome.
excited to have that.
I can't wait to see him pound some pockets in his video.
Yeah. Sometimes we make these decisions and like I joke him, I was like, do you regret this? Are you going to have to post everybody's before and after photos for the rest of eternity? But he's loving it. So.
It's awesome. What does it do? It's content. Brings people in.
It does.
What do they say? Any publicity is good publicity? Or all publicity is good publicity?
Yeah. I'm not going to mention any names, but I've also got a PLL player lined up who's pretty exciting, full of energy, calcium. So you'll hear all about that.
Awesome. Lots of calcium. I wonder if he was the same position I actually am.
He might be. But you got to stay tuned. So
in the future.
All right. You have a wonderful evening.
You do yourself, and